Hey there, Saints. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for you this Wednesday. Hope you're doing well today. I want to share a quick meditation from David Koontz's Quiet Mind, and this is about our bodies and souls. All the soarings of my mind begin in my blood. Rainer Maria Rilke. Why are we so reluctant to make the connections between the mind and the body? Certainly one of the reasons is that for centuries, our Western institutional churches have separated them. I learned very early that I had a soul, and that it could be marked, and that the soul was important and good. And I had a body that was different, less important, and it somehow contained the soul. Today, I would rather say we are not a soul in a body, nor a body in a soul. We are soul-body. The underlying assumption in separating and distinguishing the soul from the body is to see this soul as spiritual, good, and eternal. It's separated from the body, which is physical, not so good, maybe even bad, and dies. Ultimately, this splitting has put us at war with ourselves. I have a theory that responds in a very practical way to this unhealthy splitting. When you're experiencing physical malady, it is an indication of spiritual disquiet, and thus its treatment must be spiritual. Conversely, when you are aware of a spiritual malaise, it is a sign that some physical reality needs healing, and thus the treatment will be in the bodily realm. Thus, for a headache, instead of popping pills, take the afternoon off. And for anxiety, rather than a therapy session, get thee to the gym. This theory can, of course, be carried too far. Aspirin can relieve a headache, and therapy is good for anxiety. But more of a problem is that we don't use the theory at all. Try it. See if it works for you. So, Saints, I found this a very interesting meditation because I agree with it so much in one part, but I disagree so much in another. First, the disagreement. I think there's a danger in this idea of the spirit being the cause for the physical ailment, or the physical being the cause for the spiritual ailment, because that can be misused in a way that we often saw people in Scripture kind of accusing people with a physical problem, with a physical malady, of having done something wrong to deserve it. All right? There's this sense, and perhaps this isn't what Koontz intends, it probably isn't, but there's the sense in what I read that just makes me kind of cringe. It feels like that we're talking about when we have physical problems, it's because we've done something wrong, or spiritually we're guilty or broken in some way. And I don't think that I can go along with that. I do think that there is a connection between our body and our soul that we so often overlook or even intentionally downplay. I definitely agree with his comment that the church has often been responsible for putting a division between soul and body where there shouldn't be. I think so many of us have this kind of assumption that comes from somewhere. I don't think this is often said out loud, but it's somehow taught or osmosed in our church experience that we believe that the soul is separate from the body in some metaphysical sense. There is a soul that lives within our body, and when our body dies, when we die, our soul lives on and goes to heaven. That's not the story that Scripture tells. There is no human being that is separated soul from body. There, in the beginning, the story of creation, God makes Adam out of the dirt and breathes the breath of life into him. And it is the spirit and the body together that becomes a human being, a living human being. And when we talk about death and resurrection and the final kingdom coming in the New Testament, we're talking about not souls that go on to live with God in heaven. We're talking about bodies that are restored to life. We're talking about resurrection. And that is the picture of eternity for the human being. It is a living body with a soul embedded, connected. They're not two different things. You can't have one without the other in Christian theology. And so I do think that there is an important connection, metaphysical connection between body and soul, or spirit and soul, if you are spirit and body, if you like those terms better. But it's something you have to be careful with. We do have bad moods, and they can be brought on by physical things that are happening in our body because we're hungry, because we're tired. They can be restored or fixed by doing things with our physical body, by getting some exercise, by getting out in the sun. There is an absolutely obvious connection to me between the two. But it's something you got to be careful about, that you don't come to the point of doing exactly what Job's friends did, or what the friends of the blind man Jesus healed did, where they said, "Who sinned? Who sinned that caused this man to be born blind?" That's not the way the connection works. So it is confusing, challenging, something that I think is worth wrestling with and thinking about. Hopefully you will do that this week. Think about what are the connections between your spirit and your body, and what are the things that you might need to do in one place to help the other be more healthy. That's your devotion this week. Hope it's helpful, saints. Hope it's something worth thinking about for you. Hope you are doing well and staying healthy, and I'll be praying for you. Please keep praying for me. I'll see y'all again soon. Take care.